The two Koreas failed to reach an agreement on when to put the Kaesong Industrial Complex back on track in exhaustive talks. Another round is scheduled for September 10th. New details about Saturday's train collision have prompted authorities to seek new safety measures to prevent similar accidents in the future. A growing number of elderly people are taking their own lives, senior suicide emerging as yet another challenge Korea faces as an aging society. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Tuesday, September 3rd. I'm Luke Clary. The two Koreas have failed to reach an agreement on when to put the Kaesong Industrial Complex back into operation at the first round of inter-Korean talks, which lasted an exhausting 12 hours. South and North Korea have agreed to a second round of talks slated for September 10th.
The representatives of North and South Korea held a meeting Monday, some 15 days after agreeing to resume operations of the inter-Korean joint venture, which has been suspended for 5 months. The meeting started off amid a friendly atmosphere. The representatives had 6 sessions during the 12-hour-long meeting, but they failed to reach an agreement on the exact date for reopening the industrial park. A South Korean Unification Ministry official says South Korea wants to restart the complex only after the military communication line in the Yellow Sea is restored, infrastructure at the park repaired, and stronger measures to prevent another shutdown are in place. However, North Korea wants to reopen the Kaesong Industrial Complex as soon as possible. The two sides decided to discuss when to restart the industrial park at the second round of talks, which will be held on September 10th in Kaesong. On Wednesday and Thursday, North and South Korea will hold meetings of subcommittees under a joint committee to oversee the operation of the park. They have narrowed differences over the composition and operations of a standing secretariat of the joint committee, which will replace the current Kaesong Industrial District Management Committee, a North Korean organization.
Authorities say Saturday's train collision occurred when a train started moving in spite of a red light telling it to stop. Now efforts are being made to install an automatic safety mechanism that would prevent such accidents in the future.
The train collision at Daegu Station was caused by a Mugunghwa train that began taking off from the station while the light was still red. The passenger conductor who signaled the departure was unable to check the station's traffic situation at the time. The railway switch that controls trains entering the main track was not functioning either. At the time of the accident, the railway switch was opened toward the second track, where only KTX bullet trains run, but there was no other device to stop the Mugunghwa train. If the KTX train arrived at the station a little bit later, the Mugunghwa train would have entered the main track without any restraints. That way, the bullet train would have rammed into the back of the Mugunghwa train, resulting in a more serious accident. This accident shows how urgent it is to install an automatic safety system to prevent accidents at train stations. Experts also call for the installation of an automatic shut-off system to stop the trains when the red light is on and to prevent them from entering the main track even after they start moving. Some say a warning siren should go off at the station immediately after a mistaken departure is detected. A similar accident happened 5 years ago at Daegu Station when a freight train collided with a Mugunghwa train. All these accidents reveal some serious structural problems in the traffic control system. Meanwhile, the Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transport has launched inspections of safety facilities, safety management measures and employee training at major train stations nationwide.
Today marks the nation's 50th Broadcasting Day. Celebrating the achievements and progress of Korea's broadcasting industry, President Park Geun-hye said that the government would provide its full support to the broadcasting industry so that it can play a pivotal part in the creative economy.
President Park Geun-hye attended the gala to celebrate Broadcasting Day. She said Korea's broadcasting industry has transformed into a creative ecosystem that employs new technologies and ideas that continually provide a wide range of services. She promised to offer full support so that Korean broadcasters can bring about changes to rival other global broadcasting companies.
정부도 창조적 미디어 생태계 발전을 적극 지원해서 방송 산업을 창조 경제의 핵심 산업으로 육성할 것입니다.
She pledged to build a virtuous cycle within the media ecosystem so that the value of quality contents stemming from creative ideas can be fully recognized and result in continuous investments. Production infrastructure for small and medium broadcasting content providers and production assistance programs will also be expanded. President Park said the world is now connected and unified and that this was the opportunity Korea has been waiting for. She hoped that the Korean broadcasting and media industry would take the lead in bringing about a brighter future.
Unified Progressive Party Representative Lee Seok-hee, who stands accused of conspiring to start an uprising against the government, blasted a court arrest request, condemning it as a witch hunt. Meanwhile, UPP Chief Lee Jung-hee has embarked on a hunger strike in protest of the parliament's handling of the arrest motion.
Representative Lee Seok-hee says the court's request for his arrest doesn't contain a single reference to the alleged conspiracy to start a rebellion. He strongly condemned the request by saying that it only mentions accusations of his pro-North Korean activities.
체포될 동의안의 사유는 철저히 사상검증, 마녀 사냥입니다.
He says the National Intelligence Service pieced together several words that he spoke at the May meeting to make his speech sound pro-North Korean. He also said the Russian currency that has been found at his house was for his business trip to Russia. Meanwhile, Unified Progressive Party Chief Lee Jung-hee launched a hunger strike to protest the arrest motion.
체포 동의안을 처리하는 것은 한국 전쟁의 피바람 속에 자행됐던 즉결 처분과 같습니다.
She also claimed that the spy agency bribed some of her party members to spy on the party, and the whole affair was masterminded by the presidential office. Those who attended the controversial meeting in May say the purpose of the gathering was to discuss the political situation on the Korean peninsula. They also said that the transcript of the meeting was changed by someone. Meanwhile, Unified Progressive Party members personally distributed to Democratic Party members pamphlets saying that the arrest motion against Lee Seok-hee is unfair.
A growing number of elderly people are opting to take their own lives in recent years. Suicide among seniors is one of the many problems Korea must face as an aging society.
An elderly woman receives movement therapy. It helps her to forget about her depression and regain a sense of calm. Most of the elderly people suffering from depression go to the extreme because their depression is more severe than that of young people. In fact, 1 out of 4 people who commit suicide these days is of an advanced age.
더욱이 이 노화에 따른 인지기능 저하가 있어서 상황을 잘못 판단하는 경우가 많아서 젊은이들보다 더 과격한 방식의 선택을 하는 경우가 있습니다.
One of the solutions to reducing the suicide rate among the elderly is the so-called group home, where senior residents can live together. Creating jobs is another way to boost their self-esteem and help them solve financial difficulties. Providing more welfare benefits can also contribute to curbing the suicide rate. Of nearly 1.2 million elderly people living alone, 200,000 need care services at least once or twice a week. As of now, there are only 8,000 such care helpers in the nation, which means that each of them has to take care of 25 seniors. Some also say that the government must raise the basic pension to the level that reflects the current circumstances to cut the poverty rate among seniors, which has already reached 45%.
The specter of privacy leaks online is becoming a serious social issue as hacking techniques grow in variety and sophistication. Here's a look at how to choose a password that's easy to remember, yet hard to crack.
More than 63 million cases of personal information leaks occurred over the past 2 years due to hacking. Yet Internet users still prefer easy-to-remember passwords just to avoid the hassle.
보통 이름이랑 생년월일 이런 거에 좀 조합해서 쓰는 편이에요.
평소에 기억하기 쉽고 편리하게 사용하기 위해서 그렇게 사용하고 있습니다.
A test performed on the two users' passwords showed that one of the passwords was hacked in 3 hours, while the other one took 15 hours. The best way to choose a safe yet easy-to-remember password is by establishing your own rule. For example, by combining certain letters used in the title of a website with the numbers in your family members' birthdays, you can set individual passwords for each website you visit. For those who speak several languages, another good method is to transcribe foreign words or names using English letters. Experts also warn against using the same password for several websites.
Novels by famous Korean, American, and Japanese writers have seen enormous popularity this summer. Experts say the popularity of novels will remain high this fall as well, because autumn is traditionally regarded as the best time for reading in Korea.
Competition among newly released novels was fierce during the summer. Customers in bookstores stood in lines to buy books. Even TV commercials advertising new novels were produced. It was especially competitive among Korean and Japanese authors. The best-selling novel from Japanese writer Haruki Murakami topped the charts for 8 weeks in a row, but he was eventually beaten by Korean author Jo Jung-nae.
조정래라는 이름만 보고 읽었었는데 이 세상에 어떤 나아가는 힘 그리고 용기를 얻을 수 있는.
Over the past 5 years, novels had mostly remained on the back burner, as readers preferred to read books on self-realization and mental healing. But now, 7 of the top 10 bestsellers are novels.
우리가 함께 삶을 살아가는 사람들이 필요로 하는 문제, 공통의 괴로움에 대한 이야기를 감동적으로 쓰면 소설은 언제든지 독자와 함께 호흡할 것입니다.
While some criticize large publishing companies for their excessive marketing, others hope that the popularity of novels will expand opportunities for promoting works of originality. This hit of novels will likely maintain its high throughout autumn, as many seasoned and rising authors will release their works.
In showbiz news, G-Dragon of the popular boy band Big Bang has let loose with a few songs from his second solo album, and singer Ok Joo-hyun has been cast as a lead actress for the Wizard of Oz-inspired musical Wicked.
Singer G-Dragon has disclosed 5 tracks from his second solo album, which contains 14 songs. G-Dragon's agency YG Entertainment says the disclosed tracks include Black and Crooked. The singer is to officially release his album on September 13th. The disclosed songs have already climbed to the top spots of the leading music charts. Musical actress and singer Ok Joo-hyun has been cast for a leading role in the musical Wicked, which will be staged in Korean in November. Ok will play the Wicked Witch of the West called Elphaba. The musical is based on Gregory Maguire's novel of the same title and was first staged in 2003 on Broadway in the United States.
There is nothing quite as refreshing and satisfying as a tasty beverage that you put the time, effort, and investment into making yourself. Here's a look at people putting a homegrown spin on 2 of our favorite brews, coffee and beer.
First, we visit a passionate coffee aficionado. Meet Kim Won-jin. He loves the art of roasting coffee. His house is littered with dozens of fresh coffee bean varieties and coffee brewing gadgets. His place even looks like a coffee shop.
집사람이 뭐 커피도 안 타준다고 뭐라고 하길래 그냥 장난 삼아서 그럼 내가 볶아줄게. 그래서 시작을 하게 됐는데 볶다 보니까 재미있어서 여기까지 오게 됐습니다.
Kim says he fell in love with coffee after he tried home roasting 3 years ago. Now his love of coffee is a family affair. After sorting out the bad beans, it's time for a fresh roast. The wire mesh he uses here is easily found in most stores.
불하고 수망하고 높이는 대략 10에서 15cm. 그리고 한 가지 주의해줄 점은 바닥에 내려놓지 마시라고. 탑니다. 그리고 열심히 흔들어주세요.
Roasting coffee beans is not that complicated. Just stir non-stop over the fire for about 20 minutes.
이제 다 됐고요. 향 좋죠?
The rich aroma of coffee fills the house. After they're cooled and sealed in a container, the roasted beans are left to ferment for 3 days. After fermentation, they're ground and hand-dripped. And now, this homemade brew is ready to enjoy. Kim's wife might be his biggest fan.
원두에 따라서 다 맛이 다르고 내가 먹고 싶은 대로 주문하면 나오잖아요. 그런 재미, 즐거움 그런 게 있어서 좋은 것 같아요. 집에서 남편이 해주니까.
Here's another popular homemade brew, beer.
지금 맥주 만들러 가고 있어요.
These days, it's not uncommon for people to try out their own homespun recipes. There are even places to teach you how to make beer at home.
만드시는데 30분만 투자하시면 쉽게 만드실 수 있어요.
You can choose from a wide range of beer extracts to make black beer, wheat beer, even fruit-flavored beer. Just one jar of this stuff is enough to make about 20 liters of beer. Pour some water into the extract, add some yeast, and leave it to ferment at 25 degrees Celsius. The temperature is crucial in determining the taste of your beer. If you have a hard time adjusting the temperature on your own, you can rent space in a fermentation room. After about a week of fermentation, pour the beer into bottles and leave it to ferment in low temperature for another 2 to 3 weeks. And now, your beer is ready.
정말 잘 되나 보다.
올라오고 있어.
After about a month of preparations, it's finally time for a taste. Another charm of homemade beer is that the flavor can be adjusted depending on the fermentation period. You can make a 3-month supply of beer in one go.
이거 진짜 너무 맛있는 거예요. 이게 최고인 것 같아. 내 거는 어떡해? 이런 맛을 위해서라면은 발효나 숙성 기간도 충분히 기다릴 수 있을 것 같아요.
Homemade drinks are not only tailored to taste, they also offer plenty of health benefits to keep you fit in the hot weather.
Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Have a great day.